would rather die than have kids like us.
Marvel Comics has tons of X-Men spin-off teams, and we'll be seeing at least 2 of them in X-Men 97 Season 2. Brad Winderbaum from Marvel Animation teased this during a Q&A, though he didn't reveal which teams exactly. At D23, footage showed Polaris and Havoc, who are part of X-Factor, a government-backed team that appeared in X-Men the Animated Series. Since Forge is assembling a new X-Men team, he might reach out to his old team for help. Other possibilities include Emma Frost starting a new school for mutants, bringing in teams like the New Mutants or Generation X, or even X-Force with Cable in charge. We might also see teams like Excalibur or X-Statix. We'll know for sure when Season 2 drops on Disney Plus in 2025. But enough about the X-teams, let's get into the storylines teased for Season 2. In The Rise of Onslaught, Xavier crosses a big moral line in Episode 10 by entering Magneto's mind to reverse the damage to Earth's electromagnetic field, which leads to serious consequences. This twist is inspired by the 1993 comic Fatal Attractions, where Xavier's mind wipe of Magneto creates the villain Onslaught, a mix of both their darkest sides. Onslaught's power rivals Bastion, and the X-Men had to team up with the Avengers and Fantastic Four to stop him in the comics. With X-Men 97 already featuring Captain America, could we see the full Avengers team? The story could also tie into the Fantastic Four, with Franklin Richards, their son and powerful mutant, playing a key role in stopping Onslaught. Another storyline from Wolverine's journey involves him losing his adamantium, just like in the comics Fatal Attractions. This sets Wolverine on a path of self-discovery that could be explored in Season 2. In the comics, Xavier mind wipes Magneto in response, but his reaction is milder in the show. For Wolverine, losing his adamantium sparks a journey where his healing factor temporarily shuts down, and he discovers his bone claws, leading him to clash with villains like Lady Deathstrike and Cyber. Eventually, Wolverine's healing factor kicks back in, but without the toxic metal in his system, causing his body to mutate into a more feral state. He regains his humanity over time. Wolverine later gets his adamantium back when Apocalypse kidnaps him and turns him into a Horseman of Death, though he eventually breaks free and returns to the X-Men. With the Wolverine not being a major focus in Season 1, it's likely he'll have a larger role in Season 2, possibly leaving the X-Men to recover and revisit his rivalries, especially with Lady Deathstrike, Cyber, or Sabretooth. The show could also dive deeper into his origin and connection to Japan. We may also see his feral transformation and his time with Apocalypse's Horsemen, especially with hints of Apocalypse in the Season 1 finale. Wolverine is set for a bigger role in upcoming seasons. Another storyline centers around the rise of Apocalypse. While Tolerance is Extinction might have left room for Onslaught to show up in a future season, it looks like Season 2 is focusing on a more familiar ex-villain, Apocalypse. The final scenes of Episode 10 drop some strong hints that the next season will revolve around him. The episode teases a 3-part conflict that spans different points in Apocalypse's long lifespan. One group of X-Men travels back to 3000 BC, where a young En-Sabanur is facing off against Pharaoh Ramatut, or as we like to call him, Kang the Conqueror. Another group jumps to 3060 AD, where a young Nathan Summers and Clan Ascani are the last resistance against Apocalypse's reign. Meanwhile, in the present, Apocalypse is seen mourning the dead of Genosha and considering resurrecting Gambit as his new Horseman of Death. How these 3 time periods will connect is still a mystery, but we assume they're all tied together. Based on his appearance in the final season of X-Men the Animated Series, we know Apocalypse has taken over Fabian Cortez's body and is back in power. The big question is whether world domination is his goal or if he sees himself as a protector for the mutant race in these dark times. It's likely we'll see Gambit brought back as the Horseman of Death in Season 2, and he probably won't be the only hero Apocalypse recruits into his fearsome foursome. If tradition holds, Apocalypse will gather other mutants either by choice or force. This could tie into how Wolverine gets his adamantium back. Apocalypse will probably also be the reason Archangel makes a return, as he's always had unfinished business with his former master. Also, expect a big reveal about the identity of young Cable's protector, Mother Ascani. Let's just say the Summers Grey family tree is a confusing mess, and it's about to get even messier. Speaking of family drama, let's talk about Vulcan, the missing Summers brother. Season 1 dives deep into the complicated Summers Grey family saga, introducing Jean's clone Madeline Pryor and revealing Cable's heartbreaking origin. It looks like Season 2 will dig even deeper into this tangled family tree with the return of Cyclops' long-lost brother, Vulcan. Vulcan is teased in Season 1's 6th episode, where he's shown to be part of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. In the comics, Vulcan was born into Shi'ar slavery after his parents were abducted. He eventually escapes, returns to Earth, and becomes a member of Professor X's forgotten second X-Men team. After he and his team are seemingly killed by the living island of Krakoa, Xavier erases all memories of them, leaving Cyclops unaware he even had a brother. That is, until Vulcan comes back for revenge. We don't know how closely X-Men 97 will follow the comic storyline, especially since the show's version of Vulcan seems to still be under Shi'ar control rather than returning to Earth. But we can expect Cyclops to go through a whirlwind of emotions when he finds out he has a brother he never knew about. The series will likely also explore the sibling dynamics between Cyclops and Havoc, and might even show Vulcan trying to take the Shi'ar throne for himself, like the Uncanny X-Men Rise and Fall of the Shi'ar Empire. Another big storyline is Operation Galactic Storm. When Vulcan makes his debut in Episode 6, he's fighting as a member of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, who are caught in the middle of a massive war with the Kree Empire. This conflict is based on the 1992 Avengers crossover event, Operation Galactic Storm. In the original Operation Galactic Storm, the Avengers get caught up in a brutal interstellar war between the Shi'ar and the Kree. We see something similar happening in the animated series, as former showrunner Beau DeMaio confirmed that many of the Avengers have been called away from Earth to intervene in the war, which is why they're not available to help with threats like Bastion. It's likely that the impact of the Kree-Shi'ar war will play out in Season 2. If the show follows the comics, the Kree will suffer a massive blow with the detonation of the Nega Bomb, and the Shi'ar will come out on top. The big question will be how Empress Lilandra reacts to the aftermath and whether she faces new challenges to her throne, particularly from her treacherous sister Deathbird. This storyline could also be a way to bring the Avengers into the spotlight in future seasons. We've already had a Captain America cameo in Episode 7 and saw him and Iron Man protecting the President in the finale. But what about the full team of Earth's mightiest heroes? It looks like we might see more of them as the series progresses. And lastly, let's talk about T'Challa as Black Panther. Black Panther makes a cameo in Episode 10, where we see him defending Wakanda from the attacking Prime Sentinels. However, it's revealed that in the X-Men 97 universe, the Black Panther isn't T'Challa, but his father T'Chaka. This seems like a deliberate choice by the writers, likely setting up a storyline where T'Challa eventually takes on the mantle from his father. But why the focus on this in an X-Men series? One possibility is that X-Men 97 will dive into the relationship between T'Challa and Storm. In the comics, T'Challa and Storm share a deep romantic history, even marrying during the 2006 Civil War crossover event where Storm briefly became Queen of Wakanda. Though their marriage was later annulled, their bond remained strong. Could we see the X-Men 97 series explore the Black Panther-Storm marriage? Will Storm find herself caught between her loyalty to the X-Men and her duties as a global leader? Given the brief cameo in Season 1, it seems like there's much more in store for T'Challa and his legacy in future seasons of the show. Well, that's it for today. We've got a lot to look forward to, from the rise of new threats like Apocalypse and Onslaught to the return of old favorites like Vulcan and Gambit. What storyline are you most excited about in the upcoming season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this and other exciting movie and TV news. We'll see you next time.